You are listening to Lovely Talks Heavy. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Lovely Talks Heavy. I am your host, Lovely, and I discuss everything I enjoy with regard to heavy music. In this episode, I'm going to be doing something a little bit, completely different. But regardless, I hope you will still enjoy it. I'll be discussing the Black Panther soundtrack in this episode, but it won't be a full-on track-by-track review. The whole approach for this episode and subject matter is due to a few reasons. Number one, this weekend, I'm gonna go see Black Panther in theaters. As you might know, it is opening weekend for Black Panther. You yourself might have seen it already by this point. But if not, okay, no spoilers. I haven't seen it yet. I mean, granted, okay, I haven't. I'll probably have seen it by the time I post this. Who knows if I decide to post this up before or after I go to see the film. Anyway, rambling, moving on. It's opening weekend for Black Panther, and I'm so ready to be shaken to my core. I've been waiting for so long for this film, since just the first trailer of Captain America Civil War came out. I'm so excited for this film. I absolutely love the Black Panther and the mythos surrounding him. It's exciting for me not only as a fan of superhero movies, of comic book characters, but as a Black person. And the fact that I just love that this film's coming out in the holiest of all months, Black History. So basically, for once, for my sake, but mostly yours. Why my sake? Mostly it's for your sake. I won't geek out about Powerwolf and or one of 5 bands from Finland and or possibly Sweden in this episode. Number 2. Instead of a full-on track-by-track review, I'm going to highlight the songs that I really dig off this album. Mostly because while I hold an appreciation for rap and hip-hop, I have little clue of how to navigate discussing music that isn't like hard rock or heavy metal. For example, despite not knowing how to read music or play an instrument aside from air drums and death growls, I can feel comfortable exploring the artistic choices behind the composition of a heavy music album more than I would with rap and hip-hop. Granted, okay, talking about something while admitting you don't really know how to talk about it can make one really look, as I've heard professionals in the industry say, an ass. This lack of comfort and ability to discuss rap and hip-hop in the way that I would with heavy metal stems from a few things. Number one, having had a longer and deeper appreciation for heavy music. I mean, that's the primary thing. 2, internalized racism that came with dismissing any music that didn't have guitars basically as lesser than when I was in high school. And I'm still getting over some of that. It's a tough subject. Don't like talking about it. Number 3, a lingering unwillingness to step out of my musical comfort zone. Like, yes, I do hold an appreciation for rap and hip-hop, but I'm nowhere nearly as well versed in that field of music as I am heavy metal, because it's easier for me to go around and find sounds I like within heavy metal, because I already know what I like with heavy metal. It's harder for me to identify that with rap and hip-hop, it seems. Plus, I mean, I'm more familiar with names in heavy metal, so if there's like a band that I've like checking out for the first time, I might have already heard of them. Whereas with rap and hip hop, that's a less likely scenario. But anyways, despite all of this, I will do my best to discuss these songs off this album while trying to not get too technical, but maybe ending up getting a little technical along the ways anyways. So let's get into it, shall we? Normally, I'd talk about preliminary information about albums before saying let's get into it, then cutting to the instrumental break, then discussing the actual contents of an album or discography, but considering the size of the disclaimer I made a second ago, I thought it best to talk about the, quote, crucial, unquote, information after saying, quote, let's get into it, unquote. Where am I going with this? Anyways. The soundtrack for the Black Panther film is officially titled Black Panther the Album, Music from and Inspired by, and is produced by Kendrick Lamar and Anthony Top Dog Tiffith. Kendrick holds writing and composing credits on every single song on this album, with his vocal contributions on each song ranging from saying a few lines for an outro or an intro to singing whole verses and choruses. Each song is a collaboration with other artists, such as SZA, that's spelled out S-Z-A, Schoolboy Q, and The Weeknd. While the actual contents of each song doesn't fully dive into the Marvel mythos aside from lines like, I am Killmonger, there's a certain attitude from them that can be tied to the ambitions and actions and thoughts and feelings of the characters in the story, which I will explain as I discuss the songs individually. The soundtrack came to be because the director of Black Panther, Ryan Coogler, and Kendrick Lamar wanted to collaborate on something. After the release of Kendrick's latest album, Damn, it became clear what that collaboration would entail. When I first heard that Kendrick would be working on this album, I was quite excited. I like the songs by him that I've heard. I enjoyed his collaboration on Freedom by Beyonce on Lemonade. I mean, there was also that time he was on that Taylor Swift song, but, you know, we all make mistakes, and I forgive him for it. Mostly. There are 14 tracks on this album, and of those I will be discussing 5, so let's dive into the first one. The second track and leading single off this album is All the Stars featuring SZA. This is the kind of song within the rap and hip-hop area that mainstream radio loves, kind of akin to Airplanes by Hayley Williams featuring known flat earther, B.O.B., and some dude named Marshall Mathers. I don't know who he is. He claims to be from my state. I don't buy it. Anyways. I was on top of the song when it first came out as the single, so going into this album for the first time, I was already a bit familiar with it. It is a bit gentler than what my tastes normally suggest, but that's okay. It's got a soothing instrumental that you could just listen to for hours. You have the notable pre-chorus with Kendrick singing with faded autotune, giving a sort of distant tone to it. SZA singing like she's dancing through a galaxy like she does in the music video for the song, and it is absolutely beautiful. I speculate that the song might be attached to a scene where T'Challa's looking up at the stars and there's a large tree from what I've seen in the trailers. Hopefully this will be attached to a scene of self-reflection for T'Challa, dealing with the pressure of being the new king of Wakanda, dealing with his enemies coming at him. Definitely, this is a favorite. Not really gonna rate these songs, as this isn't a true track-by-track review, but I will say, 5 out of 5. If you've heard practically any episode of my podcast, you'll know that I love when artists really utilize stereo and try to make the experience of wearing headphones a pleasurable one. The third track, simply titled 10, it's spelled out X, but it's like the Roman numeral 10, so it's 10. You gotta think about that. Yeah, gotta keep up. Anyways, 10 does exactly that with the use of stereo. It hooked me in immediately with Kendrick shouting from both sides of your headphones and asking repeatedly, "Are you on 10 yet? Are you on 10 yet?" And then, fuck the place up, fuck the place up, fuck the place up, fuck the place up. And just traveling to different parts of your headphones, and it's amazing. I love it. This track features Schoolboy Q and Saudi. Saudi, being of South African descent, primarily raps in the Zulu language on his verse. And then Schoolboy Q comes in gives me the best lyric on the song, possibly the whole album. I just love it. It's so hilarious. It's it's not even Kendrick can humble me. And for those that don't understand, Kendrick Lamar has a song on his latest album, Damn, called Humble, where the chorus is a repetition of, hold up, sit down, little bitch, be humble. So, hearing this song for the first time, I hollered and clapped in the solitude of my own home, still wearing headphones, because, even though I have that luxury of, listening to it in solitude, I have to listen to it with headphones, because you don't know what you're gonna miss, and there's, little treats like stereo, little treats like hearing amazing lyrics like that, clearly for the first time. But anyway, so hearing the lyric, not even Kendrick can humble me, for the first time, I hollered and clapped, and I keep laughing to myself at that line. I just love it so much. But no doubt, this is one of my top songs on this album. It definitely gives the attitude and feeling of T'Challa. He's returning to Wakanda after the events of Captain America Civil War, and finds he's got challengers for the throne. The lyric, "Are you on 10 yet?" asks if he's giving his all to run his country and face his enemies. And the lyrics, "I wore the crown all day, someone can't really relate," suggests that his challengers for the throne have different ideas about how to rule the country of Wakanda. You know what, fuck it. 5 out of 5 on the song, too. The song Ops is a fucking banger. Ops is a goddamn banger. It is a motherfucking banger! Bass-driven instrumentals through the whole songs that could get you hype as fuck for anything. That important job interview, that family gathering where, inevitably everybody's gonna ask how school is and if you have a boyfriend yet, and they really don't care about your interests and they can say they talked to you. Or maybe you're going to a trip to the grocery store where you just need food for the week, but it's gonna be hell because it's Super Bowl Sunday. You need something to give you that energy, that confidence, the belief that you can do it, even though you might die. Going to family gatherings, I always go in thinking I'm gonna die. But anyways, that's just my normal mind state for doing anything. Anyways. Another one of my favorite things is, again, the use of stereo, where the lyrics kind of roll over from one ear to the other. You can really hear that with Kendrick's verse, especially. And my favorite entire verse would have to be Eugen Blackrock's. There's a stoic intensity that is displayed through the whole verse. You have to listen to it to know what I mean. The fact that I really like intense, high-energy songs shows with this song, this whole album, the songs that I'm picking from this album. This is up there with 10 as far as favoritism goes. Ops really reflects the opposition, the conflict that's gonna happen in Black Panther. I promise there's songs on this album that aren't intense and about conflict. I just happen to really like the ones that are that. Okay, look at that. You see that? You see that? You hear that? You see that? We are calming down a little bit now, chilling out as far as song intensity goes. For those who might say appreciate a more doomier metal approach. I'm trying to translate this to metal. It's not working. Anyways, we're calming down a little bit with the sexually tensioned redemption. There's a bit of a romantic arc happening between T'Challa and Nakia, who's a Wakandan spy in this film, and that's reflected in the song. Nakia and T'Challa start out actually in this film as ex-lovers, so the title Redemption possibly reflects a second chance at that love. We do have some more utilization of the Zulu language from Mapinchta. If I'm not pronouncing that right, my apologies. It's quite important for Kendrick to bring in an authentic African feeling to this album by collaborating with artists who were from Africa. I do think this is a perfect kind of song that describes musically the sexual tension between two people who've been throwing each other glances across the room all night at the party, but really don't want to say anything, or maybe one of them's just playing hard to get a bit. You know, you get those vibes. Maybe you've been that person. You know what I mean, right? Who knows? Anyways, let's move on. The final song on the Black Panther album soundtrack is Pray For Me, in which Kendrick and The Weeknd team up for it. It's a song about reflecting on the hero's burden. We tend to love superheroes like the Black Panther, sure, because they have cool powers, either supernatural ones or technological ones, or because they have a lot of money, or they were thrown into a bad situation and they're making the most of it or the worst of it. Who knows? I'm rambling. Anyways, more importantly, we love them because of their very real and human qualities. And one quality that I find extremely relatable is feeling like one gives oneself so much to others, but who is giving back as hard? T'Challa was thrown into the position of King of Wakanda so suddenly, and that's one with heavy responsibility. It can be quite easy being in a position where someone has to answer to someone else, but what happens when you have no one to answer to? What happens when you're inaccessible, untouchable, seemingly unmatched by other people who think themselves below you? It can be quite a lonely position. You know, the chorus asks so much. Who's gonna pray for me? Save my soul for me. It's quite difficult, finding that shoulder to cry on, finding somebody who can help you out when you yourself are the image of strength to your people. Oh, great, now I'm sad. That is to say more than I usually am. Let's move on. As an added bonus, why not talk about a couple of songs by Run the Jewels? The song featured on the trailers for Black Panther is Legend Has It, and it is a banger. It's got the perfect intensity to match the energy, the hype, the mania that is surrounding this movie. And the simple line, "Step into the spotlight, whoo," hooks you into the chorus. The flow of lyrics coming from Killer Mike and LP are constant, keep your adrenaline moving. My favorite of all these lyrics hit right before the second chorus. Yeah, second chorus. And it goes, "I've got a unicorn hoof for a stop." You gotta listen to the whole song. It really, the arrival of that lyric is just, I love it. Anyways, if you're ever in the crowd, if you just so happen to be in the crowd, by the way, for a Run the Jewel show, and they play the song, and you don't chant along to, and the crowd goes RTJ, 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 I'm gonna need you to delete your social media, report yourself to the authorities, exile yourself, and move to the North Pole, because I'm sorry, the whole song's a banger, and I think it should be one of 10 commandments to chant along to the bridge of this song, even if you're just home alone with no other audience by you. That is all. Anyways, the other song by Run the Jewels I will bring up is Panther Like a Panther, the Miracle Mix edit. And while it doesn't really have anything to do with the movie other than it has the word Panther in the title, it's still a really good song. You can find both of these songs off the album Run the Jewels 3, and for those who want to buy a physical copy of it, it'll be the blue cover with, the right hand. There's these two hands, they're gold hands, and the right hand has the thumb up and two fingers pointing at the left hand, which is just in a fist, and it's like the background's bluish green, and it's a black gradient on there too. So it should be easy, hopefully, I'm describing everything in as much detail as possible. Let's just move on. Okay. That's gonna do it for this episode of Lovely Talks Heavy. I surely hope you enjoyed this little change in subject matter. I figured why not, with my excitement at the Black Panther film's release. And while I'm here talking about Black Panther, if you yourself have seen and enjoyed the film, number one, no spoilers, okay? I mean, granted, I might have seen this film by the time I upload this, episode. Who knows how I'm feeling on that day, so... Anyways, but go ahead and check out the Marvel Knights Black Panther animated series. It's got, number one, a badass opening intro song, and Mark Brooks of Metalocalypse also worked on it. If you enjoyed this episode, please share it with a friend. Every time this show hits a new set of ears, it means the absolute world to me. Did you enjoy any of the songs off this album? Who's your favorite character from the Black Panther film? Hit me up on social media. On Twitter, Tumblr, YouTube, Instagram, and Mixcloud, I'm Lovely Metalhead. Subscribe, follow, and share on all those platforms. My latest YouTube upload is a Black Panther-inspired version of Nicki Minaj's verse from the song Monster by Kanye and a whole other crew. But please do check that out. Share it. I would not be opposed entirely to people tagging folks like Michael B. Jordan or Ryan Coogler or Letitia Wright, you know, just a thought, just putting that out there. Anyways, till next week, guys. It's next Saturday, the next episode of Lovely Talks Heavy. You stay brutal, my friends. Bye.